Roadies, thank you for stopping by. It has been one of those weeks that is emotionally up and down. I mean, and you know, for me, I mean, there isn't one specific issue, is there? It's just kind of like a dog pile. And I don't know about you, but I'm an ugly crier. I mean, when I start crying, I like need tissues, and you know, I can't talk about things because they make me cry. So what did I do? I came up here into the beehive and I put me on some Adele. Oh, this is like, you know, if you want to cry, this is who you want to listen to. I mean, the song My Little Love, oh my gosh. I cry as soon as that first musical note plays itself. Today is quite beautiful looking out the window. It's really cold, and the 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 cherry on this week was that our furnace broke. I mean, it gave up the ghost. And so I called our contractor friend, and he recommended a company who, like, I called them yesterday. They immediately came out this morning and told me, yeah, it's a goner. And we knew it was kind of limping along, but they were so sweet because then they sent out another guy with space heaters. Hence I'm wearing a sweatshirt because it's really cold, really cold. And it's no warmer outside. It looks beautiful, but it's chilly. It's chilly. And so they brought out the space heaters. It's going to take, I think next week, they're going to come out and replace the furnace. So we have a week of of a challenge, but not the end of the world. You know, you get to put everything in perspective. What I am really lucky is that when I get into my, you know, that sometimes when you get anxious or you get depressed or things seem overwhelming, I've never lost my quilty bug. It's like I get hyper focused is what happens. And so that's what's occurred this week. Is a little bit of craziness here in the beehive. You have a different view here of the beehive because I'm sitting at the table that I have in the middle of the room, where if I have stitchy friends over, they sit at this table. And the original builder of this home built these wall-to-wall, ceiling-to-floor bookshelves, which, as you can see, there's Woody and Jessie and Buzz and baby Woody. So there's lots of fun things to distract myself with. And so that's what I've done this week. I have kind of hunkered down in here. I've played some Adele to relieve. It's kind of like that pressure cooker thing. You know, you put a little bit of Adele on and the music will, and then, oh, it kind of, it's a pressure valve and releases that pent up things. And there's just so much going on, isn't there? Well, I'm glad you're here. And if you're new, please hit the subscribe button. I always welcome all the thumbs up. You know, it's, what can I say? I'm a sucker for stars. I'm a sucker for stars. I started using my star system on my calendar. I'll explain it more over on the Stitch Roadie channel, but I started giving myself a star every day on the calendar when I met the benchmark for, you know, getting out and walking, doing healthy things for myself. If I felt like I achieved a benchmark, I give myself a star. So far, I've gotten a star every day. Yeah, because if you can't be your own star master, really, really, well, we have. I know you all laughed last time about that I never pressed the button on the fat quarter shop. Oh, and here I waited like 2 weeks and I'm going, what the heck? And and then you find yourself sinking into that. Nothing works right anymore. Nothing happens right. But in my heart, I was going, you know, they've never not come through. So maybe I should double check. And it turned out I never pressed the buy it now button. So as soon as I did that this last week, the last video when I was talking about it, the package came the next day. I mean, 2 days and I had the package. It was like, okay, okay, I accept that it was me. It's a good thing I'm so pretty. Yeah. So I'm very excited about that. But let's just, in no particular order. Oh, first we have to answer the 4 questions. Things they don't teach you in school. So I'll say the question again and give you the answer. Do you hear better or worse after eating a lot of food? Worse. That can explain some of the post-dinner conversations in this house. What is the most common day to have sex? Sunday. Sunday. Interesting. In what decade was shampoo invented? Do you know? Did you know? The 1930s. How much taller is the Eiffel Tower in the summer than in the winter? Approximately 6 inches. The steel expands in the heat. I was watching my girlfriend Ariane, and you must go over to her channel. She is an artist and stitcher extraordinaire, and she was accepted into an artist in resident type of program in Paris, and so she's there right now. And she put up her first video, and just a walking around video of Paris, and there's really a lot to miss in not being in Paris. Yeah. So you need to go over to her channel, and I'll link it in the description box below. I received a sweet stitchy gift from Jenny, and a nice long note. Look at this. Look at this. I'm telling you, I just love, just think of the embroidery that you could do with that. It just, yeah, there's a lot to, I'm definitely going to be saving this. But she was doing her own shopping online and came across this site that was selling these linen napkins, wood block prints, 3 Pines Studio linens. Oh, and see, I remember when I was in France, we went to a linen a linen company where they actually printed things, and then they had a shop there at the factory. But these are just, look at the bees. That's for G in my happy hour. It's beautiful. Thank you so much, Jenny. And I will link the studio in the description box too. It's almost like you don't want to wipe your face up. And I loved this. I loved this sheet tissue paper. Don't you just love the sound of crinkling? Crinkling just is the bomb. Yeah. So it has been quite a week, hasn't it? Thank goodness we have each other. Thank goodness we have each other. I also received Yasmina from Yazzy Bags sent me some bags, and I just can't even, because the thing about the Yazzy Bags is, for someone who travels, and I'm not talking about, oh, flying first class going to Paris or something. I'm talking about that G and I hit the road, and we cannot wait to get back in Penny and start driving the country. Of course, as everyone is complaining on social media, and I wish they would stop, yeah, the gas price is gross and outrageous, but there's nothing, complaining about it is not going to make me feel better, so I refuse to even think about it. I have adjusted my oh, I just need one floss. Let's drive, 20 miles to get it. Yeah, I've kind of eliminated that, but I still have really high hopes of hitting the road in Penny. And we both, G and I both, agree. We sleep like babies in there. There's something about, maybe, for G, when he was a child, he grew up in a trailer, so it might be that nostalgia, that coziness. But back to Yazzy Bags. So the Yazzy Bags truly are an awesome travel bag because of the fabric that they are created out of. It is a tough fabric meant for travelers. And the original history of Yazzy Bags was for travelers, but it has morphed into traveling quilters and stitchers and knitters and all of those people that want to take all their stuff with them. And so they're tough. You can bang them around, you can throw them under the seat of the plane, you could throw them on the side of the passenger in the van, and they never look dirty or worn. They are just an awesome bag. And so the bags, let me just wait till you see this. Okay, so this is, look at that, look at that. When you go on their site, and I'll put the link in the drop-down box, this is called the Block Showcase Bag. And because I have a retreat coming up in spring, I know that I'm going to be traveling to that retreat with the Yazzy Bags because everything is so darn organized. But the thing about this is that window. So you can see your blocks, and you can fit more than one project in here. But let me just show you. So so this is what that bag is. It's the Block Showcase Bag. I decided, if you remember last time, I bought this pattern. It was part of a relief fund for Ukraine, and it was foundation pieced, patterned by Christy Leah, Sunflower for Ukraine. I'm not a paper piece. I love this, and I knew that the money was going to as a donation, and then you downloaded the pattern. But I struggled with the concept of paper piecing. Some people have no problem with paper piecing, and this particular block would be awesome paper pieced. But then one of you awesomeness in the comments said, why don't you do it in wool? Yeah, I know. It was like my brain had a fart. Well, it did something. It did something. And I thought, I could do that. I could do that. And so I did it in wool. And see how that looks through that Yazzy Bag window? I created a block, this block, and I traced the pieces onto soft fuse, like I always do with my wool, and then I fused it to the background of blue, because you know the Ukrainian flag is yellow and blue. And then I have it SF101 on the back of the blue piece of wool. And now I just have to stitch. I have to stitch it. So I had my bag that my friend Heather made for me, and in it I have my little needle case that was gifted to me, a pair of scissors, and the thread that I'm going to be stitching all the petals down with. And when I get all the petals down stitched, I am going to do some kind of stitching in here, some kind of decorative stitching. And this is absolutely the perfect bag to take blocks in, to take big blocks in, because they're all protected, yet you can see what's in there. Isn't that cool? Isn't it the coolest? Yeah. I'm loving it. So then the next, okay, this here, Yazzy Bag, I have not yet designated what project is going to go into it. I do believe I am going to put embroidery, because what I would like to have happen is when I travel, I will know that wool will be in one bag, embroidery in another bag, quilting or stitching in another bag, and so just by having the opportunity to see and know what I feel like doing, I think that's what I'm going to do, because I have a ton of Gail Pan and Kathy Schmidt's embroidery, and Meg Hockey from Crabapple Hill. They are totally my girl pack for embroidery. And this bag here, love the color, and it has a clear pouch on the back, is the 100 Ultimate Thread Organizers. So I could take all the thread that I need for all the different projects, because it has these, you know, the spools of threads that you use for all the different stitching. This is going to hold a lot of thread. I'm very excited about that. And it'll have my embroidery project too. Yeah. Now this, I'm just gathering everything because it's fallen on the floor. Although this bag is called the block carry case, it's just a nice flat clear bag, so you could carry, you know, your hand applique or any kind of blocks you want. I have decided on this particular one, it's my pillowcase bag. Remember, we were going to do a pillowcase a month, and since retreat is next month, I decided to prep in terms of cutting and getting ready pillowcases to sew up. Now this bag, although it's called the block carry case, I have 3 pillowcases in there, and I probably will do a couple of more. And in the pillowcases I have, so here's the body of the pillowcase, and then I have the cuff and the trim. And I have it all folded together and laid, it's ironed nice and neat, laid right into this block carry bag. And then I'll take it to retreat. And when I have a moment where I want to do a no-brainer, I'll whip out my pillowcase bag. And I did make a pillowcase this week in my continued trying to keep my brain occupied. I whipped out a pillowcase, and here it is. Isn't that the funnest thing? And because the cuff, this particular pillowcase I had bought at the Stitching Post, and I believe it was at the Stitching Post, and they actually at the Stitching Post in Sisters, Oregon, they have pillowcase kits already made up where the cuff, the trim, and the body is already ready to go, already matched up with complementary fabrics in different themes, whether it be for kids or for men or women or whatever you want. You can call them up and say, I want a pillowcase kit. And so because of that, usually I cut my cuff like 2 inches. Not my cuff, my trim piece like 2 inches. This was actually a little bit bigger. And so I did a decorative stitch. I took red thread and I programmed my machine and did a stitch. But this fabric is hysterical. I mean, what a stunning blouse. I bet those tucks were awfully tricky to make. Not at all. It's the dressmaking touches like tucks that give a garment that $1,000,000 look. This is definitely a funny pillowcase. I mean, everything on this pillowcase makes me laugh out loud. So I hope you've been thinking about your pillowcase a month, because I am on a roll. I am on a roll. And I was shopping the Soya Brothers, and as soon as I have no excuses other than it was marble fabric, and I'm a Nana, and one has to have marble fabrics in your stash. And so those all arrived. I'll try to do this like Brody. So, look at that. These ones are more fun too. And I thought I was getting them for pillowcases. And then when they arrived, I thought, oh, this little chunk, because I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, would make an awesome quilt. I get to change my mind. I get to change my mind. And then there was just another fabric, because I was feeling very nostalgic about not having been able to go to Arizona this winter. And this fabric came up, and I don't know, I just loved it. Isn't that the sweetest? Yeah. When you buy a yard of fabric for a standard pillowcase, you cut off 9 inches, and that 9 inches would be the cuff on another pillowcase. Well, you still have enough for the body. So that's something to think about. Yeah. How you doing? You still hanging in there? Well, the block of the month from Sue's Fargo came for the second shipment. And I just, this is just amazing. I just have to show you all this lovely thread. This is the wool. Yeah, this is the wool thread. It's included in the block of the month, the thread that you're going to use that month. And then look at all this lovely fabric, wool. Oh, there's a beautiful thread in there too. And then cotton fabric that you hand a needle turn applique. And then the pattern for the next ones. So I am going to be busy. I'm not one of those block of the month people that has to keep up on the block of the month. I just work on it when I feel like it. And this one though is really captured me. So are you ready to do your table runner from Fat Quarter Shop? So I got this pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. The mini brick road. And this should be like a afternoon stitch. It's going to be an afternoon stitch. Now you can do, if you're going to be making one also, you can do it out of any charm pack you want. If you want a Christmas one, if you want to be, do a fall one ahead of time, or a summer picnic one, whatever you want to do, we're going to be doing this. I personally chose off of Fat Quarter Shop's website the charm pack squares called A Little Dr. Seuss. And that is because I wanted to make this as a table runner for my younger grandsons, who are still Dr. Seuss age. And this pack comes with 42 5-inch squares. And the table runner only takes 30. So you're going to be able to choose out of all of these which one you want, I mean, there's just some fun Fun, 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 fun. And, you know, my kids grew up on the Dr. Seuss books. I have to laugh at some of them. And I think it'll be an adorable, table runner. So get your pattern out. I'm going to post it on Instagram, and then we shall show it next time if we get it done. I signed up for a class, my first in-person class at a quilt shop. I'm so glad this day has arrived. I'm so glad this day has arrived. But it's at the Cedar Ridge Quilt Shop in Oregon City. And if you watched that video of the Cedar Ridge shop, I focused towards the end at this wall hanging that was called Button Fantasia. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. It was a combination of simple piecing, using some buttons, and then embroidery. And I'm one of those people that, you know, I like anything with a needle and thread. And embroidery provides a whole different way of design. You know, like, I mean, Kathy Schmitz and Gail Pan and Raspberry Rabbit, and they are just such artists when it comes to embroidery. I mean, have you gone on Raspberry Rabbit? Did you see how she has this whole series about her trip to the UK and the gardens? Oh my gosh, it's absolutely stunning. And the way she creates that feeling with thread is pretty darn amazing. But while I was I had to go pick up my instruction sheet so I could be prepared for the class in April. And you can't go in a quilt shop and just pick up a piece of paper and think you're going to get out of there without, you know, without. There were a handful of women stitching. They signed up, you can sign up for a open stitch day there at the shop, and each person gets their own little table. It's awesome. And so they were over on one side in the classroom area, and then I walked around and picked up my sheet, and then I walked around again, and I found this book. It's awesome. It's an awesome book. And you can, if you call up the shop and tell her what you want, she will send it to you. But here it is. Little bits of joy coming your way. Handmade happiness. And the reason I really was drawn to this was my hexies. I love my hexies, but that project started out as a big project to make a quilt. And that quilt is not going to get near the love because there isn't the wall space here or the places in this house for quilts like there were in my other house. And so I thought, I want to do something different with my hexies because I love my hexies. I love doing them. And this book had so many ideas on what to do with your hexies. I mean, they made pin cushions. Let me see if I can find a picture. I mean, look at this sweetest little book, needle book. Oh, and on the front you can see the pin cushion with the hexie flowers on it. This book just was beautiful from beginning to end. It was beautiful, and there's embroidery stitches on the back. This, though, this is what I mean. Let me see if I can find it. Scissor fobs, hexie scissor fobs. I mean, is there anything? Everything in this book was worth every penny. Let's see if I'm getting close to. You have to see this. I am definitely going to give this a try. It's going to be challenging because it's three-dimensional, but I couldn't even. And the great thing about it is I have the pins that are showing here, but look at this. Look at that pin cushion. That is so mushroom pin cushion. So I came home with that book, including my instruction sheet. Did I cover everything I wanted to cover? So much goodness today. So I got my pillowcase done. I got the block prepped for the wool block for the Ukrainian sunflower. And I am just having a blast in here. It's freezing cold. I had to turn the heater off so you could hear me. The guy dropped off portable heaters to us, and he said, "Are you sure two's going to be enough?" And I said, "Well, we carry it around with us." So G's been having a blast down in his workshop creating walking sticks. He is you know, when I met him, he comes from a crafty genetic line, and he actually built a dulcimer. He was a fine woodworker, like a not like a cabinet maker or something, but I mean like carving. And for whatever reason, it kind of piqued his interest again, and so he's been carving wooden walking sticks. I can hear him carving down there. Before we go, and thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for hanging out. I will have G put at the end of this video some photographs of the class that I'm taking that's called Button Fantasia. There were 3 different creations by the instructor. There is no pattern for it, although maybe she can be convinced to create a pattern. You have to take the class to create this. I'm very excited about it, very excited. So I will have G insert some photographs of that class, and then the winner of the $35 gift card from the Fat Quarter Shop, yep, you're going to have fun. You're going to have fun. I will put my email address in the drop-down box, and if you could email me your email address, because then the Fat Quarter Shop will send you a code to shop with. And that winner here on Quilt Roadies is Melinda Hawkins. Congratulations, Melinda. I hope you have fun. I hope the rest of you are warm, doing well, and quilting and stitching, it's what keeps us sane. So take care, and I love you guys.